AVNation.tv. We are here at CEDIA Expo 2018 in sunny San Diego, California. We are in the Just Add Power booth with Taft. How you doing, Taft?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Taft, you guys have been doing video over IP pretty much since obviously the start of the company.
Yes, yeah. So company's 25 years old. This is our 11th year of doing video over IP.
Very good. This year we're standing in front of one of your new 509 systems. Let's talk a little bit about the 509.
Yeah. So 509 is built on our 3G 4K platform, multi-award winning, works fantastic, it's awesome. What we've added to it is we now have a PoE output on the receiver.
Okay.
Okay, so many homes were built single Cat 5e, or I had a dealer tell me the other day one of his customers added something on or changed something in a project, and I didn't know customers ever did that.
No, really?
Yeah.
I had no
Sorry,
idea.
bad joke. But in this case, you could walk into a home that has a Cat 5e, run to a location.
Okay.
You could drop in our receiver, run 4K to the display, come out of that and either IP control the TV, or you could add a WAP, add a small switch, a whole, basically it just expands the network, works great, works on your existing wiring, and makes your life a whole lot easier as versus having to pull more wiring. So
when we talk about some of the additional benefits of having that WAP, we talked earlier that we can get into some daisy chaining, some different configuration things.
Yes.
Obviously adding a WAP is great.
Yeah.
But what happens if we're trying to do, dual screens or a video wall or something like that?
That's a great question. So single Cat 5, we can, without adding any power supplies PoE, power 4 of our receivers daisy chain together and do a full video wall, 4-panel video wall. Beyond 4, our boxes, our receivers, will take a 4.7 to 23 volt power supply, which I reference as any power supply on the truck. So if you needed to go to 6 and you didn't have enough PoE power by plugging in 2 of them and powering them on their own, then that drops your PoE budget back down to manageable.
That's fantastic. When we start talking about endpoints, sources, is this changing those numbers as far as what's available?
So as far as endpoints, it's pretty much limitless as far as the number of displays in a project. With our new JustOS platform, which is based on the REST API, which is big in the IoT world. Very simple, very easy API, and it basically is infinitely scalable for the API. Then it now has what's called ESS, which is every switch supported. So basically any managed switch out there we work with now. And then we max at 10,000 sources when utilizing ESS. Obviously that's going to be something like a Dubai Mall project like we've been involved in, or a large corporate headquarters or campus where you're going that large. But the whole JustOS and adding ESS and being able to expand the number of sources has been great for us.
When we start talking about ESS and obviously supporting every switch, is that something where you just work with every switch? As far as we know, we can plug it in and it's going to work, or is there some configuration involved in that?
So you would open our config software and it's going to tell you what the switch needs to do. When I say every switch, if we went and dug in your basement or my basement or garage and found a network switch...
Are you saying I'm hoarding switches?
We all hoard switches,
we're hoarding switches.
But if it's an older switch, and then it's not going to work. If it is at least a minimal managed gigabit switch, then that's no problem at all. So we've gone from working with a handful of manufacturers to actually working with thousands and thousands of different switches. The config software, super simple. Open it up. It tells you to check what settings you've got. Just kind of a quick guide within your switch. Beyond that, it will find our devices on the network and automatically build your driver for whatever control system you want.
That's fantastic.
Assign IPs and kind of the whole 9 yards. So it's super easy. You don't have to be a networking engineer. And it's great. So now not only can you retrofit where there's minimal wiring, but you can also retrofit where they don't want to change the switch or don't have the wherewithal to change the switch.
So was this approach something that you developed to offset essentially like your technical support calls, or is this something that dealers were asking for in getting more acceptance?
So on the commercial side of things, we'll run into situations where the IT guy for a casino or a corporate campus is in love with the switch, and it's a true love affair.
Yeah.
Because nothing can break them up. And so that's a large portion of it.
Right.
And then as we look at being able to, do our daisy chainer, go in and do retrofit type stuff, and things like that, adding every switch. You go into a customer's house and you've updated their network. Now you're going to update their video.
Right.
Now, hey, I was here last year and updated your network and got you Wi-Fi everywhere. Now let's pull out that switch I sold you last year and sell you another switch. So it just kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay.
It was really driven by our commercial clients,
okay,
and then also really driven by the people that have a love affair with the switch, and that happens.
You're saying IT guys really love their gear?
There are IT guys, there are CEDIA guys. I have guys that say, I'm in love with this switch, and it's because they become comfortable with it,
right,
they know it inside and out, and they've sold 10, 20, 500 of them, and they know that they work.
Right.
So it really falls under the IT guy who has control over everything and doesn't want to change, and then the guy who is actually having a love affair with a brand or a switch. So, yeah.
Definitely something we see in the industry a little bit. One of the best things that I love about the products is they obviously scale across those markets. So if you're a residential dealer that's dipping their toes into a little bit of light commercial, they can stock that SKU and just run it across.
Exactly.
How big is that emerging market in the resi-commercial side of things?
Well, the resi market's really large for us. The high-end resi market is actually slightly bigger than our commercial business. Really? And the reason is that, for example, with Just OS and ESS, that goes on to all of our 4K product. And so if you bought product from us 4 years ago, it now can get this firmware update and it'll work. Okay. It'll do everything that it does today. If you bought product from us 10 years ago, it lives on the same switch, the same network, and works seamlessly with our current product. And we build stuff to last for decades versus till the next time you and I do an interview at the next trade show. And people buy stuff and go, oh wow, I get more features and it's just free. And in a world of updates and feature sets and everything else, in a tech world, that's what consumers really demand. At this point. So.
All right, so if people want to find more about the new 509, the Just OS, the ESS, where can they do that?
At justatpower.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and we're also with all the cool kids now on Instagram.
Ooh,
yes.
Little Insta stories.
Yes,
I like it.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Taft. Appreciate your time.
All right.
For more footage from the show floor and to learn more about AVNation.tv, please visit avnation.tv.